Guys, it has been so long, but it happened. We finally got some new cards. Let me just preface this for a second here. It's been like 7 weeks, maybe. Scott and I played our first games on April 30th, and it is now June 13th. And the last day cards were revealed were on April 29th. Long time, like ridiculously long time. So happy to have cards back. Let's get into it. Let's break down. Of course, we are here. We're talking Disney Lorcana trading card game. We finally got some spoiled cards, and we want to talk about how we are going to kind of break down these cards so you guys understand. We are using the SWOT analysis overview. What that is, for those of you at home that aren't familiar with it, is we're using a typical business school taught SWOT analysis as a technique for creating the performance, competition, risk, and potential of a deck or a card in Disney Arcana. Using internal and external data, SWOT can guide Illumineers towards strategies more likely to be successful and away from those in which they have been or are likely to be less successful. So click for a real life example of a SWOT of Disney. You can see strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat is what SWOT stands for. And we're going to break into this, and we're going to talk about everything that this really represents. So real quickly, as we continue here, is strength is what a deck or card excels at and what it separates it from the competition. Weakness is what prevents a deck or card from performing at an optimal level. Opportunity is favorable external factors that could give an organization a competitive advantage. And external factors that have the potential to harm effectiveness of the card or deck is what a threat is. So exactly what does that mean? Well, let's look into it. Let's break it down. We're going to bring up Mr. Timon, the grub rustler, of course. We'll bring him up so you guys can see him in full picture here. As you can see, he's a 1-cost card. He has 1 strength, 2 willpower, a 1 lore, and the ability of taste like chicken. When you play this character, you may remove up to 1 damage from the chosen character, or from chosen character. So it's a little weird. The wording in this game sometimes is wonky, but basically what it means is anything that has damage on it, you have the ability to remove it. So, this is a different type of amber card for sure. The stat line is probably below average. The ability is very interesting, though, and powerful because it can, create these wonderful trade scenarios that your opponent wasn't really expecting. Sometimes 1 damage is a key factor in the ability to trade 1-for-1 for cards. So that's a big note to key factors. It's a nice strength. The weakness is the stat line. Like I said, it's a little below average currently. So this isn't going to trade very well into most cards that you want it to. So you really need to hope that the ability of Taste Like Chicken kind of excels this a little bit further. The opportunity, as we said, is the part high, is to pair with high willpower characters, and after they take out an enemy character, keep them out of challenge range. So basically, like I said, you're hoping that you can utilize this remove 1 to force even more unfavorable trades into your opponent's cards and things like that. The threats is this will lose a lot of challenges, so will likely be a 1 and done with the hope that is Tastes Like Chicken made up for this. So I feel like I repeated myself there a lot there, guys. My bad. We'll try better for the next one. But regardless, Timon, if I had to rate this guy, probably right now he's like a 5 out of 10. That'd be my real guess, in all honesty. So let's break it in. Let's get into Iago. You can see Iago here is pretty sweet. I like him a bunch. He's definitely a little different, and the ability to, have Reckless on a stick is actually really powerful, and it's really good into a lot of the early game stuff that can be really frustrating for decks to deal with right now. So that's what I kind of like about Iago. 3 cost, 1 strength, 4 willpower, and 1 lore. And he has the ability of You Got a Problem, which I love it. Tap him, chosen character gains Reckless during their next turn. It means they can't quest and must challenge if able, for those of you that are a little bit unfamiliar with Reckless. So what are the strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats of this character? Well, really simple. Strength is the good ability and alter early aggressive strategies. It's also inkable late game threat that prevents turtling up, which is really nice. The ability of, oh, I'm going to sit with this my Maleficent for 3-4 turns, and I'll just wait to utilize it later on. Can't do that. Even cards, like Mickey Mouse, or honestly any of the end game cards that have like 3 or 4 lore, the ones even more revealed. This is a great card against them because it forces them to challenge into stuff, which is really powerful. A weakness is it's low power for its ink cost. Obviously, the 1 power is not great overall, but it is very good into cards like Pascal and into like cards like Maleficent biding our time. So it's not the worst thing ever. Its willpower does help it out a little bit because it shouldn't just be a 1-for-1 trade in most scenarios, which is nice. The opportunity is to combine with bodyguard units to force unfavorable challenges. Takes care of early Pascals and Maleficents, as I keep repeating. But yeah, so pairing this with bodyguard seems like a phenomenal trade line, because then it forces like their 1/1s and 1/2s to go into your 3/3 Hercules or other potential characters with bodyguard, not yet to be revealed. The threat, of course, is opponents can exert their characters with reckless to sing a song, so they kind of get around their whole attacking just by exerting. They can also basically challenge all of your other characters. So if you have no characters left and they're able to like trade their better characters for your worst characters, then the character has the ability to just quest because he can't actually challenge anything that's not on your side of the field. So because of the way Reckless works and how interactions work in the game in general, it's not that impossible for them to like get out of it, in quotation marks, which I think is a little bit to note, is like the fact that they can just challenge away and kind of remove your board piece by piece and then challenge with their best. The card that you may have given Reckless isn't really fortunate. That's also, I really wish, in all honesty, Reckless was like, this card has to challenge first. I think that would go a long way in making Reckless a lot better of a keyword. But here we are, given choices, it'll be fine. Let's take a look at the final card, which is also the brand new card, right? Both of these cards were pseudo revealed, and this is the official new card. We'll bring it up in full form here. So this is Genie on the job. First of all, really excited for Genie. Love this art. The art is so good. And he's a pretty big boy. He's a pretty interesting character. So he is a 6 cost that is uninkable. Can't ink this guy, but he has 3 strength, 4 willpower, 2 lore on a stick. He has evasive, which is really great. And then he has the ability of disappear. And what that ability does is when you play this character, you may return chosen character to their player's hand. So that works for either or. That means you can choose a character on your side of the battlefield and bring it back, or you can bounce one of your opponent's characters back to their hand. So nice little subtle removal as a nice tempo swing card in the middle of the game. It's pretty good late game. Also, it also has the ability to really like bounce away things early, early enough in certain strategies. This might not be the worst card ever to see in like a Sapphire Emerald ramp deck that can ramp this guy out early, bounce, and kind of like reset the board to even out the playing field if your opponent goes a little crazy and you weren't able to handle it. But anyway, let's look at the strength, the SWOT breakdown of this one. So strength is evasive is seemingly the best keyword in the game, and disappear is a solid ability for tempo. Straight up, right now, evasive seems uncontested to be the most powerful keyword, and any card with it is probably going to be a really good card. The weakness is it can't be inked, of course, and is very expensive. So will sit in hand for much of the game, too slow to truly counter aggressive strategies. Yeah, like I said, outside of like the ramp side from, maybe a lantern ramp or more likely a sapphire ramp, being able to play this card on, turn 5 or turn 4 is a little closer to help you, kind of scathe off really aggressive strategies, but it could still be too slow. I think this card's going to be really, really successful in mid-range control, though, where it's going to just really blow out your opponent's bigger endgame turn plays. The opportunity is to combine with mid-game lore gainers and gain pressure on opponent, regardless of ink pairing. I agree with that too. It's a real solid, addition where it's like if I can have a good turn 4, a good turn 5 set of ink and things like that, well then I can get away with playing my Genie to bounce their quote cards that were going to challenge and break away my cards, get rid of them, get rid of that particular unfavorable trade in challenges, and then have a null other turn of lore plus my Genie on lore, which is really, really good as well. I'm definitely happy with that. So, and of course, the threats are Zimba and Robin Hood. They both straight up trade for this card, and obviously BLT Mickey Mouse, all trade and live to tell the tale. Weak to 5-cost removal also, which is kind of just everything if we're being honest. But yeah, obviously Dragonfire and Let It Go. And then the last little thing to note here is that this is a super rare. You know, the other cards were common and rare. This is a super rare, so this could be slightly upscale on the cost factor and things like that, depending on really how that breaks down, which is being covered on the channel soon. So definitely stay tuned for that. Lastly, of course, you know, we're here, we're hanging out. This is the Forbidden Mountain. We are illuminating the Disney Lorcana community. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more videos like it, hit me up right there. Catch another video in the playlist for other things like this. Thank you for hanging out today, guys. We look forward to breaking down all the brand new cards coming out, and we cannot wait to kind of really get to Gen Con as we start our true road to Gen Con. I believe there's 50 days left till Gen Con. Thank you guys for hanging out today. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like, and we'll catch you in the next video.